numbers 45 through 48 on my list of 86 things I did and tried on my decade-long journey towards healing my gut for good. If you're ready, let's go. Number 45 is I focused on the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve has been getting a lot of press as of lately, as it should. And so I wanted to definitely add this into my list because it's something that I did and tried and worked and still works to this day, is that I focused on it. So the vagus nerve is the longest of the cranial nerves, and it controls your inner nerve center, which is also the parasympathetic nervous system. We've discussed these all the time in the Gutsy community, the difference between the parasympathetic nervous system and the sympathetic nervous system. Sometimes called the rest and digest system, the parasympathetic nervous system conserves energy as it slows your heart rate and increases intestinal and gland activity and relaxes the sphincter muscles in the gastrointestinal tract. Now, that is so important because we want this to be activated. We want to be and to spend most of our time in this state, this rest and digest state. So, with a little background on that, with that said, here are some of the things that I did when I was focusing, and when I still do focus, on activating the parasympathetic nervous system. One, I do a lot of breathing exercises. I have a ton of them on my website, but just really engaging in breathing exercises, deep breathing, pausing with your breath, deep exhaling can work wonders. Also, meditation, doing humming, gurgling with water, eating an omega-3 rich diet, yoga, singing and chanting, hugging, massages, exercising, and more. There are so many ways that you can activate and stimulate the vagus nerve so that it works on your behalf. If you want more about this and you want to learn all about the vagus nerve, things that disrupt it, things that affect it, and ways to activate and stimulate it, I have written a post called Vagus Nerve Stimulation on AGUTSYGIRL.com, and you can check that out. So that is number 45. I focused on the vagus nerve. Number 46 is zinc. Let's talk a little bit about your gut and zinc. Here are some facts. Number 1, zinc supplementation tightens leaky gut and Crohn's disease. Zinc deficiency can arise from several sources, and a major physiological effect of zinc deficiency will be to induce leakiness in tight junctional seals and consequently epithelial cell layers. Number 3, it is noteworthy that even in control, non-disease states, zinc supplementation can positively affect multiple aspects of GI mucosa on a molecular and cellular level that would likely act to enhance GI barrier function. Number 4, it was discovered that not only can a zinc deficiency cause diarrhea, but also chronic diarrhea conditions can cause the deficiency, thereby promoting even more diarrhea. And number 5, zinc deficiency alters gut microbiota. On my healing journey then, what are some ways that I made sure that I was getting a sufficient amount of zinc? The answer is that no, I didn't take a bunch of zinc supplements. Sure, you can, they're out there, there's some great ones. I, at one point or another, definitely did supplement with zinc, especially when I had a lot of acne issues, but for the most part, I just did it with food. Some of my favorite foods that are high in zinc include grass-fed beef, hemp seeds, pumpkin seeds, chickpeas, lentils, chia seeds, 70% plus dark chocolate, yes, there it is, chocolate, and more. There you have it. Number 46, zinc. Number 47 is magnesium and understanding the different forms of magnesium, and that is critical. Okay, so first of all, how can magnesium help us, and what is magnesium? Magnesium is one of 7 essential macrominerals. It is involved in over 600 enzymatic reactions. It supports muscle and nerve function. It supports energy production, protects metabolic health, and it's necessary for the body to stay healthy. And then, of course, there are many other things that magnesium does as well. But here's the thing about magnesium. While it is so good for us and we absolutely need it, it is critical for us and for digestion. Something to know is that there are different types. There are types that have more of a laxative effect, and then there are types of magnesium that are used more for supplemental reasons. And a lot of times this does come down to the dose and how much you're using, but in general, here are 3 different forms that are used more for a laxative effect: citrate, oxide, and sulfate. And then here are some that are more supplemental by nature: chloride, gluconate, L-threonate, lactate, and uranate. If you remember my story, you know that I talk a lot about the days of being severely distended, and the GI doctor that I was working with at the time would say, just go down the street to the Walgreens, get yourself a bottle of calcium magnesium citrate, drink the entire bottle, and you will be cleaned out. You'll feel much better. And so I did that. I listened to him, and of course I cleaned out. I felt much better. The problem was that the problem didn't go away. I wasn't fixing the root of anything. It was just a laxative. And there you go. There is the magnesium citrate version that is used as a laxative. Magnesium is extremely important and critical, but you must understand the different forms and when to use them on your journey. So that is number 47, magnesium. And last but certainly not least today is number 48. I spent as much time outside as possible. This one sounds a little bit woo-woo. I mean, a lot of these on my list might sound woo-woo, but you have nothing to lose by spending a little bit more time outside. And the reason why I think this worked for me was on many different levels. One is vitamin D. Everyone can use more vitamin D. It's when we're outside, we're in nature, we're just soaking it up, the sun, the fresh air. It's really good for the soul. But 2, I think the reason why spending so much time outside and outdoors worked wonders for me is because it was the way that I connected most with my dad after his passing. Everyone deals with things, copes with things in your own way, but one thing to know is that the more that we can really hone in on and focus on things that reduce our stress levels and keep all anxieties at bay, the faster and quicker we are going to heal. And for me, that was a huge thing in order for me to not relapse after I healed for good in 2018, was really being able to manage the stress that came along with the grief of losing my father. And so that is what I did. I took to the outdoors. My dad loved the outdoors, and so I found myself spending so much time out there and just really enjoying and being, and I would practice a lot of breathing while I was outside. I still do to this day. I try to be outside for as much time as possible every single day. I mean, except for in the winter when it's negative 20 degrees here in the frozen tundra of Minnesota. But other than that, I am outside as much as possible. That is number 48. Spent as much time outside as possible, and there you have it, numbers 45 through 48. Make sure to subscribe, and I will see you again next time.